What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video on Car Talks 100. What is this car? I was just so curious to know, why does this car still exist and who is buying it? So I pulled it out of the lot to explore it with you, to kind of see why there though has been talks about Ford discontinuing this car after the 2023 model years. But if you stumble upon any of the Ford dealerships, you'll see a lot of edges parked, be it in the middle of the lot or at the edge of the lot. Sorry for the bad joke there. Anyways, I never understood what is this car offering that people are still buying and Ford was still producing up until this point, knowing Ford's reliability, knowing what is Ford really good at when we talk about their trucks and other things versus what they haven't really been great in comparison to other manufacturers. This car, with its size, this is competing against, or used to, Hyundai Santa Fe, the bigger one, or the Toyota Venza at a point, because before Toyota Venza was relaunched, before that, we had up until I think 2015 model year. So same size, because it's bigger than obviously their Ford Escape, it's bigger than the CR-V, bigger than the RAV4, so it's in that middle category. And also like a Nissan Murano would also be the comparison. This particular trim is the SEL trim level. This car hasn't changed in ages. It pretty much looks identical to, let's say, the 3-year-old Edge or maybe the current 23, 24. This is a 22 model, but since there was no change, I wanted to kind of take this one for a spin and find out, what is this about? Why do I see people in this car? Because it's not cheap. It starts at around $38,000. The trim levels go at something like SE, then SEL, then ST line, then Platinum, and then the ST. So it's got quite a few trims in that, and they all start, so the starting price is $38,000, and then you go up from there, really. Coming around to the front, Ford's design cue is very similar, just like how other manufacturers are too. When it comes to, small, big cars, they pretty much share somewhat similarity in their design cue. This one in particular is a 2.0 liter EcoBoost engine, which has been a problematic one from what I know, but do correct me if I'm wrong, because one of the biggest problems I've heard is the head leaks the coolant into the cylinder, so that causes obviously problems there. But that's what I've heard in terms of the design flaw of the engine that is EcoBoost in general, but do correct me if I'm wrong here. Front, there's nothing really exciting, just the bold Ford SUV. I have a feeling because Ford is very popular outside of America as much as it is in America, because I've seen it a lot of Fords in the Middle East or Asia too, they do admire the American brand that is Ford. Up front, nothing really to mention except that, it just is a beefy looking car. The headlights, you have the DRLs, otherwise it's the projector LED, projector headlamps there. No indicators are incandescent there, no fog lights on the SEL trim level, though it starts just a tick under $40,000. Coming around the side, so why am I doing this review again? Like, just to see what was in this car that it still existed and people bought it. So like, I don't understand, but now we're gonna understand it together, hopefully. You've got about the alloys on this is 17 inches there, and it's wrapped in, I don't know if this is the aftermarket, but you have the 245, 16 actually, is the rim, so not 17, this is 16 inch, my bad. Coming up top, just a brick looking blob side profile. It's not bad, by no means it's not bad. I do like the design, whatever they were going after. It looks like, oblong car that's kind of long here, but then it kind of circles down. It's not bad, but I never understood with the reliability of the car in general and the numbers of how this unit would move, they continued making this up until now. Coming around the back, yes, I do like the contrast of the back. This does have some styling to it. You have decent wrapped around headlights. I do like how this is, it starts less on the actual trunk, but then it kind of goes more into the body of it. So that's a cool thing. I do enjoy that. You've got the top-mounted brake light, but then there's a huge spoiler-looking thing. So they did design this car somewhat well for its age back then, but I think now that we're in 2024 almost, this car, yeah, to continue selling, I don't think this is, in particular, one of the most attractive designs ever, really. This is an all-wheel drive, SEL, like I said. The car does have a backup camera. It does have a nice interior too, and I'll show you guys that too. Coming around down below, you don't have anything exposed as far as exhaust, but you do see the tips tipping down on both sides, single exhaust there. It does have parking sensors, and to unlock the trunk, you have the latch here. It's not automatic on the SEL, so you have to still lift the gate up like so. Seats up 39 cubic feet, give or take 39.2. Fold the seats down, you get about 79, so just a tick under 80 cubic feet of storage there. One thing that I also liked about this, that most of the manufacturers in that price point won't give you, is power folding rear seats. They do just plop right down, so I'll do the right one for you. There we go. It just is so fast that, let's say if the kid is sitting and it's got hand on that side or something like that, it's just gonna slam right over it. But hey, it's a good feature, though you can't bring them back up, so you have to go around and pull them back up, which we will do as we go around. So when we get in the back, you have the seats that you could see. Here, it's not false floor. You have the spare tire, a full size, which is nice for its age and for what it offers. And then you've got some hooks around here. You do have a 12-volt socket, so tailgating is fine. Not so much of a lip here, the load lip, so it's rather low, so if you want to drag something out, it is good for the size here. Nothing else in the back to mention outside of what you just saw. So a few cool things this car has. Because I have no beef against this car, I have no beef against any car really, and I wanted to kind of explore this car as to what it offered its people, and people did buy it outside of the love for Ford that they might have had, and they were like, you know, we are just always going to keep Ford, and now we want to move up to somewhat bigger SUV than Escape, so we'll go with an Explorer, Edge. To shut this, you will just simply use the grab handle and to do that, and then as we go around, we'll go inside in the front, and then we'll pull the seat back up. You have the keyless entry too. As we go inside, I'll show you the fob. This is how the key fob looks. Very important looking key fob from Ford, pretty much all, though only has unlock and lock on it and a panic, so nothing else, but it still feels very important holding this particular key fob. No integrated turn signals, but you do have blind spot monitor, which was nice, and then keyless entry. And then I don't see the Ford standard track, the keypad here. So that was kind of a sad thing for me there, because I do love Ford's keypad. The door, the sun is glaring, so I can't promise if you folks will see everything very crisp, but if I zoom in, nothing out of ordinary to mention here. The only thing I kind of feel, I don't know if it's a good thing, or maybe it is, you guys let me know if this even matters. To switch to adjust the door mirrors, it's got individual buttons. I know a lot of manufacturers do that, but I feel like a toggle is just fine. But anyways, no one touch up down for others except just for the driver. And then the door bin has one for a 500 ml. Everything else is pretty standard. Feels solid when you open it, but when you shut the door, and I'll do it, the thud talks the quality. We'll do it one more time. So I will let that speak the quality. No comment myself. As we climb inside, I do like the interior of this. That is one thing I wanted to talk about, and I feel like maybe that's where most of the money went. So here's a start stop, nicely placed. This chime always, anytime I jump into a Ford, I did say that in my Mach-E 1.2, just reminds me I rented a truck from Home Depot. That's all. Going from here, left to right, what do we really get in... I'm trying to turn the AC fan low, and that's a bummer because you got to do it from the screen so you guys can hear me. You've got the light controls there. You've got your speedometer lighting, and then down below you have the fuse box. I'm so sorry you saw the steering wheel more so than anything else, but the least important things to the left, I'd say, for the most part, except the light control. Up here, you have the screen that is digital on each side with the analog speedometer in the middle. So that is nice. When I did drive this car, it feels, yeah, it drives fine. It drives nice. But hey, it's you know, there's better and good cars that Ford makes. This, I don't think, is one of them, but let me know. I've never owned an Edge or Escape or any other Ford for that matters to know exactly how reliable they end up being, or should we just go off of the numbers that we see online and from people that they aren't the most reliable. But I'll let that be decided by folks that own Ford or, you know, have any history with Ford. Steering wheel standard to date. You have your volume and stuff like that on one side, and then you have your cruise control on the other. Cruise sits here, volume sits here. The middle, I do like this. I actually really like this. This is very similar to how I did the infotainment or looked at it on Mach-E. This is just smaller, but same idea. You have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto here as well. The backup camera is going to be right there as well, so you got top there. No 360, but it does have trajectory. Resolution isn't the best, but it's also not the worst. So there is that. Other than that, in the middle console, you don't have much going on. The only thing I don't like, though, is that your AC controls and everything is through screen, so there is no manual option there. My assumption is this isn't a car someone is buying that is super into technology, but I could be wrong. So I feel like this was targeted for the wrong audience in the wrong car. That just is my opinion, but I could be wrong. Because your heated seats and everything like that also sits in here. And me personally, I don't like it, but if people get used to it, that's a different story. Coming down below, you have the volume knob, you have the tune knob. I wish that one of the knobs were for the fan speed, because it's just a lot easier that way. However, it wasn't. No piano, just matte black here. The interior, when you sit in the car, it doesn't look as big perhaps as it would appear to be in comparison to the Ford Escape, but here it is in its glory. You have this nice texture going on here. Your shift knob is a rotary dial, parking brake, auto start stop functionality that Ford always advertises with their EcoBoost engines. Cup holders, rather shallow, so you could see the drinks will topple over. Not saying that you'll buy this car, but if you do, that's what you get. You have in the middle here a USB-C and a USB-A, and then a cubby here. No wireless charging or anything like that, but it is deep, so you can put the key fob in there. Leather padded, the car is SEL, so you do get leather. I believe the L stands for the leather because you have the base trim, which is SE, and then you get into SEL, which is the leather. So that's the only differentiating factor. If you open this once, you have this tray thing that it reveals, and then you only open it once, my bad. And then you have, you know, the console, which is rather deep, but it's got this divider thing in the middle, like here too, and then there's a space that goes in. So it's like very, it's very, it's got space, but it's also very kind of, you know, like creepy. Anyways, yeah, so bottom line, it's got space. So we put this back. If I can, I am doing something wrong here. I think this is how it goes, yeah. There we go. So, not the easiest, but that's my problem. Seats, I do like the comfort of them. They do feel good to sit in, that is for sure. You have the passenger door there. Nothing exciting, it just got some silver around it, and then your lock unlock, which is standard, and then you have your texture going on here above the glove box. Overall, nothing crazy. I do like the screen, like I said, here for what it does, but not the bottom half. Up top, no sunroof in the SEL. You go with a higher trim to get that. You have the vanity, which also isn't LED, but you get the lights in there. Up here, you have your standard, it is LED for map lights, but that is about it in the front. I'm going to shut the car off, and we're going to go in the back to explore that. All right. As we climb out of the back, or the front, go into the back, it did have the capless entry there, and it also gives you that fingerprint-ish where you can actually just open it like this. I don't know why I'm showing this, but here it is. Not fingerprint like Touch ID. The back door doesn't want to stay open, but when it does open, it's a very nice wide opening. It's almost 90 degrees. It's not exactly, but it's almost 90, which brings me to a point. If you have a car seat, dead easy to get in. Isofix coverage, dead easy to get to. It even has the labeling, so no problems there. You can see the seat has been folded. If we look around in the back, the seat is set to my height. I think it's slightly pushed forward, maybe. 5'9". So much for the legroom. There's like plenty of legroom, so that's nice. In the back, we get 2 vents, and then we also get a USB-C, a USB-A, and then a little cubby, which actually comes off, which I don't know why, but if you have something here and you want to pass it to the front passengers, you could just give the whole tray. If we put this up, I can't put it up because it's got the headrest there, so we'll leave it there. I have to move the front seat up and then put it back up. Seat itself is light, but can't put it up because the headrest is in the way, which I don't like. If we fold this down, you have a rather small armrest. I wouldn't call it an armrest. I would simply call these cup holders only, because if you look at how far out it comes, it is useless for arms to be put in. You can't fold this, so this is useless there. Overall, in the back, seat comfort is the same. I do like the indentation. I do like how the leather feels here. I like the quality of the seats here. You have the map light up here, very minimal, I feel. And then the sheet also moves, so like, I'm not here to zonk Ford's quality or anything like that. I just wanted to explore this car to see what it offered in the price and why did people buy it. Now I know why. Would I ever buy it? No. If you own one and you like it, please let me know. This wasn't to zonk the car or to appreciate the car. This review was simply to see what this car offers. And in my almost, 29 years of life, this was the first time I actually ever stepped inside of a Ford Edge. Was this exciting? No, but this was something I wanted to do, so I was able to, so I'm glad for that. This car, you are not probably buying it. You're also not really comparing it against anything because you have so many better options for $40,000, in my opinion, that you can go for from any other brand. If you really want to go with Ford, then there is other options at Ford that you can go explore. But here is Ford Edge in its full glory in the SEL trim level, stickering in somewhere around $40,000. Still existing in 2023, but I do think that it's going to be discontinued. I think Ford has already made that announcement, but I could be wrong because there's just so many things online that you could believe, but they're not true. If you are in the market for a car that is this size, look at the Toyota Venza. Look at the Honda Passport. What is Nissan offering? Nissan, you can look at not QX50, Pathfinder, slightly bigger than this, but probably will be in the same price point, give or take, starting at least. You can also look at Chevy Blazer, which is the same size. I'm not a huge fan of Chevy, but hey, if you are comparing and you want something American, so yeah, GM offers that too under Chevy Blazer there as well. But if my suggestion would be, if you only really have, let's say, $40,000 and you want to spend something on a nicer car, you could even look at used cars from different brands that are a lot more reliable and will take you to places without having to deal with the maintenance stress and or the question of their longevity. That was really it on Ford Edge, or what I thought about it. You folks let me know how good, bad, not so good, not so bad has this car been. If you know anyone that's owned it, what are your thoughts on it? Would love to hear it. But this was a standalone review for the Ford Edge of the Ford Edge. Until next time, take care, everybody.